like my little game?
You mean the game where you refuse to help us?
I provided you with the opportunity to prove yourself. Is that not why you're here?
I'm an archaeologist. I'm here to do my job.
I don't think Addie enjoys having obstacles placed in the way of her goals.
We have arrived at our destination.
The Spire pilgrims must have gathered here. To listen to the Keeper's sermons, I guess.
People will return here once the beacon is restored. Flock and shepherd will be reunited.
This must be the Keeper's pulpit.
A view out over the masses.
The masses found their own way up. Pilgrims were building fires. Why would they do that? Someone went through a lot of food. People were clearly sleeping here. They must have dragged this up from the settlement. Guessing they were here for a while.
Judging by bedding and volume of food containers, 5 to 10 people might have been here for over 20 days.
Quite the manifesto. I don't recognize the language.
I am embarrassed to say I do not recognize it either.
Well, they were here long enough to get bored. It must have been written with charcoal from the fires. Seems to be holding my weight. This must weigh a ton. At least a couple people worked together to break through here. Wish canisters.
These have never been used.
For recording wishes, maybe. They look pretty banged up. More camps. Another stage in the siege. Looks like the numbers really fell off here. Most gave up by now.
Or died?
No bodies yet. Death to Everett. Pretty clear who they blamed. This must be an attempted barricade. I'm guessing there was a lengthy siege. So, when Grace shut down, the Pilgrims blamed the Keeper. They demanded to see Grace, or thought they could reactivate her. The Keeper turned off the heat. Pilgrims built fires, dug in. They eventually got restless. Wish canisters started flying. As Pilgrims were breaking through the partition, the Keeper and his followers built up a barricade. We'll have to make our way through the barricade to learn how it ended. So the Keeper must have stood here, addressed the visitors, gave his sermons. Can you imagine having the solar system coming to you for answers?
The Keeper was merely a vessel for the word of grace.
Then why not have Grace address them?
There is sometimes more power in what is imagined than in what is seen. You'll want your light, Addie.
Can't make this out. (2766 to 2780). These dates are from the old Julian calendar, which makes them very old.
1,200 years, by all accounts.
Nothing here either. 2780 to 2830. I'm guessing these were the time periods that these keepers served here. This canister looks undamaged.
And it has been recorded on.
This has gone on long enough. There's nothing Keeper Everett can do to meet your demands. You must return to your ships now, or we will be forced to take more drastic measures.
So this was left for the angry pilgrims.
What do you think more drastic measures were?
I don't know. But you might get to see that dead body. Second barricade. Looks like they got under this one. 2942 to 2956. This would mean keepers were at the spire for at least...
444 years.
That sounds about right. Do we know where this goes?
To a funicular that leads to the next section of the spire.
Oxygen tanks. Everett upped the ante. Cut off life support here. Long live Grace.
Apparently not.
Oxygen is almost out. We are going to make one last push today before returning to the ships. Grace, help us. We will win.
Hold on, Addie. The room beyond the airlock is uncompressed. I don't believe it can be sealed. Something must have been compromised. You'll want your helmet on.
The tracks ahead lead to the highest point of the spire, known as the Lighthouse.
Is that where we'll find Grace's processors?
Obviously.
You need only worry about the beacon, Addie.
An emergency exit?
For certain. It opens to the moon's surface.
Not going there yet. This doesn't look operational.
Let me try it, Addie.
Okay.
Come on! It's ice again?
The force needed to break through the ice dam would only come from directing all power to control processors.
Which only I can do.
Great.
On one condition.
And what's that?
You shall have no others before me. Cast aside that device on your wrist and continue with me alone.
Whoa, hang on.
No, Addie.
But how will I communicate with you?
Mine is the only voice that resonates freely throughout every aspect of the spire. My words live within the vessel in which you stand now. They reverberate through the very walls of the Enclave above. Through the many devices and instruments at my control.
Yep, I got it. You're everywhere.
What if she needs another configuration for something?
She will not.
Is there another way to get to the top?
Of course. The funicular is merely the most survivable option.
Throw the device from the funicular window to take your place at my side.
This door leads out into the storm?
To your certain demise. Yes.
He's being dramatic. Your death is only marginally likely.
In theory, you could follow the funicular track up the mountain slope to the base of the lighthouse structure.
It would be dangerous.
So I give up my options by throwing away my comm, or take my chances in the storm.
It's an important decision, to be sure.
So if I throw this away, you'll take me to the top.
It will be done.
Don't you want to take on the storm together?
You must not do this, Addie. In taking this risk, you jeopardize all of humanity. Would you deny them my guidance and protection?
This is what can happen when you make ultimatums.
You and your ilk were distracting Addie from her true purpose.
We are providing Addie with a variety of perspectives.
Sorry, boss. keeping my comm device.
You may not live to regret this, but countless billions in the solar system will.
The storm is.
Hello? Must be interference from the storm.
Addie,
Alan?
where are you?
I was right, Alan. I found Grace.
You need to return immediately, Addie. Your oxygen must be dangerously low.
I'm good, Alan.
You need to listen to me.
If I'd listened to you, we wouldn't have made it past Mars.
Wait, did you say Grace is still active?
Not exactly, but I'm working with her oldest service to try to bring her back online.
Well, one of these servers is actively blocking me.
I can guess which one.
You need to get back.
Alan? Alan!
You're not considering climbing across that structure, are you?
Do I have a choice?
There is also a path that descends into the canyon. It looks well worn and preserved over time, which means it's likely sheltered and safe.
And boring.
The funicular structure looks faster. And more fun.
Don't tease, Addie. The walk will give you time to think. And perhaps a chance for us to talk.
I'm not doing the high wire act in this storm.
Oh man.
How do you know where this is headed?
I don't. But it must eventually make its way to the other side of the canyon. Where else would it be leading?
It's certainly more sheltered here. So, what did you want to talk about?
Why is it so important that you activate Grace?
It's widely believed that recovering Grace would recover thousands of years of knowledge lost to the Dark Age. This looks like an old colonial language.
That's strange. I don't recognize the dialect.
Translates roughly to Grace is love.
You've come all this way at great personal risk in search of knowledge?
Why not?
Without enough fuel or oxygen to go home.
I'm a committed academic.
What do you really want from Grace?
I'm not sure. This is Martian.
What does it say?
It says, let her rest.
As in leave her alone?
People wanted her to go away.
Or didn't want her disturbed. You know, we don't let AI make any important decisions anymore. But most of the decisions that humans make are pretty awful.
You don't think AIs are capable of making bad decisions?
I just hoped Grace might be better. I don't have plans to return because I don't have anything to return to. I can thank human decisions for that. Were these to honor Grace, I wonder?
Or to leave one's mark for other travelers to see?
Vanity, at its most basic. Don't we all desire to leave something behind?
I'm surprised a formation like that could remain standing for so long. And you weren't familiar with the language on the stone carvings. These must have been left long after Grace shut down. People kept coming. Zealots, maybe.
Or curious explorers like yourself?
Hey, do you think I've been activated before? And hung out with other explorers and did cool stuff with them? But now I don't remember?
That's a pretty deep thought, pal.
Yeah. So you were saying that something happened to your family that you think an AI could have prevented?
It was a shuttle crash with a human pilot. There was, an instrument malfunction during launch, and she panicked.
I'm sorry, dear.
It's okay.
Were you ever able to forgive this pilot?
Not quite yet. How much farther?
It's another 50 meters to the base of the lighthouse.
This wasn't so bad then.
You still have to find a way into the lighthouse. So there's still time to regret not taking the free ride to the top.
I didn't want to limit my options. What's this?
An emergency escape ladder. You could work out the override to bring it down, or see if there's another way up.
Dead end. There's the top of the ladder. Not gonna make that jump.
So you don't want to mess with the computer thingy?
I was just hoping there was another way.
You could always throw stuff at it. Maybe shake it loose.
Might be worth a try. Alright, pal, I'll give it a shot. See what happens.
You're really going to resort to rock throwing?
Ice throwing, actually.
See, the latch is holding the ladder. I'm gonna try to knock them loose.
Nice shot.
Didn't release all the way.
Looks like there's another set of latches to take out further down. We'll need a better angle.
Round two.
Nailed it.
And we have a way up.
So, you preferred rock throwing to intellectual challenge?
I just thought there might be a better way up. Do we have to analyze all of my decisions?
Meaningful challenge comes in all forms. Mental and physical activities provide unique rewards, but all have the potential to be satisfying.
Ha! You satisfied with that logic?
I suppose I'm never completely satisfied, which makes me exceedingly useful.
The door to the station airlock is unlocked and can be manually opened.
That's convenient. For once. There. Who needs control?
You took a foolish risk, Addie. But you have arrived at the lighthouse nonetheless.
Yes, well done.
And you may still be redeemed with the activation of the beacon.
Always with the beacon.
Yes, always with the beacon.
Will I need my helmet?
It's never a bad idea. Unless you want to preserve your suit oxygen in case of emergency.
The rooms ahead are safely pressurized, Addie. You're good to go.
Do we know if your processors are here?
The room directly ahead was the Keeper's living quarters. Grace processors are somewhere above.
Pretty basic accommodations. These must be the cells where the Keeper's acolytes stayed.
And where new ones will return.
Another canister.
I can hardly believe it has come to this, but my work here with Grace will end with Grace herself. I can only pray that people will come to forgive us one day. We loved her, and we lost her. She will never be forgotten.
Doesn't sound like the Inner Circle wanted Grace shut down. This door certainly looks important. How do we get in?
That's curious. I have no access to this door, nor do I see any way of opening it.
Feels solid.
There aren't any hidden switches, if that's what you're thinking.
Looks like someone's being selected from a group.
A human sacrifice.
I'm guessing it's the Keeper.
The depiction seems to imply they were chosen from the masses on pilgrimage here.
Faithful, vigilant, willing. That sounds so familiar.
The ancient tenets of the human in the loop.
Grace's architects must have been more fearful of losing control over AIs than we are today because they gave them so much responsibility. I mean, it makes sense. Grace was the greatest AI undertaking in human history. Nothing here either.
Well, you're nothing if not predictable.
Just making sure. This would be the pilgrims coming to Grace. The triangle here must be the spire, which would represent Grace. This is the same symbol that's on the Keeper's door, so I assume it represents the Keeper. This ring here seems to connect the Keeper to Grace.
Curious that the Keeper is situated above Grace. Would you agree, Control?
Coincidence.
The human in the loop again. So, if this is the symbol of the Keeper, I figure only the Keeper was allowed to enter here.
Maybe the Keeper had a key for the door.
As we've been saying, there is no mechanism for a key or any other interface.
Maybe the Keeper was the key. Maybe the door would open for him.
Are you not already the Keeper? You are the only human in the loop here.
Ah, but does Addie qualify based on the 3 tenets?
I would say Addie has proven to be virtuous and faithful.
But I'm not willing?
Are you willing to become the new Keeper?
If it means I'm able to activate Grace, but how would I prove I'm willing?
Maybe you can just tell the door you're the new Keeper.
That's idiotic.
I'm the Keeper?
Ha! Say it like you mean it.
I'm the Keeper.
Congratulations on your new job, Addie.
Yeah, congrats.
My God. This is really it. This must be where all the wishes end up. Each tube must connect with a room in the settlement.
Where are you going, Addie?
Just looking around. Decent-sized bed. You think Keepers ever had partners?
Are you considering your prospects? I'd suggest they are not good.
He didn't keep much in the way of personal items.
As Keeper, he would have want of nothing.
Can't say I'd feel the same after a few years. Is this a lavatory?
It is indeed.
Is this anything special?
It is a light, and there is nothing behind it. Are you looking for secret passageways?
Maybe. Is this a theremin?
It is a 35th century reproduction of a 29th century Kellogg theremin.
I used to play one as a kid. I hated those lessons. Huh. It still works. Well, let's see what I can remember.
You are seriously going to indulge in a theremin session?
If it was good enough for Everett, it's good enough for me. Just settling into the new job. What's this?
A playback device for the wish canisters. It appears wishes from each room could be sorted and consolidated onto master canisters.
Just static.
The recording is too deteriorated for standard playback. You'll need to rebuild the recording with your altered comm device.
Well, it's been over 30 years since I've made a wish of my own. It's the same one as always. I wish it'd come back to us. I'd also like to wish for your forgiveness, Grace. I know the place above is your domain, and we ought not enter. But I've decided going up there is the only way to get you back, and I have to give it a shot. I won't be sending this wish up with all the others. I'm going to leave it here for anyone else who might come along. And if they do manage to bring you back, they can tell you Everett says hello, and that he truly believed you were a beautiful thing.
So, Everett had a way into the processor room.
That would have been strictly forbidden.
The room is directly above, but I don't detect an obvious way in.
Maybe he wished himself up there?
If that works, I will gladly shut myself down.
Do it, Addie. Make a wish.
As last resort, pal. It did sound like these wish canisters could be sent up to Grace somehow.
And there are still more buttons and things to push on the console.
Ah. One of the blocks is missing. Looks like it was ripped out. Don't suppose Everett crawled in here.
The cavity would be big enough to contain an average human.
There's really no telling what would happen if you rolled that up.
But it has to be the way he got up there. Makes sense.
The space above is the domain of Grace. It is not for you to enter.
What else is there for me to do here?
You can carry out your duty as Keeper of the Spire. On the console, there is a button that will activate a beacon to call the masses back to this place. I have armed the mechanism. You need only push the button. Human hands will usher in a new golden age. This is not allowed, Addie.
I need to know.
Keep your hands inside at all times, Addie.
There must be millions of wishes stored here. What can you tell me about this place?
Precisely 1 million wishes are contained here.
Oh, and they light up when I speak with my voice.
Can you get me closer to the central column?
I do not have the ability to move the structure.
Sorry about this, Mom. I don't think I have many options here. I feel like these are meant to be moving.
That does appear to be the design.
All these wish canisters are connected to us somehow. I think they are us.
The wishes are grouped together to provide the subroutines that make up empathy, logic, and control systems.
It would make sense, wouldn't it, that grace would be made from the hopes and dreams of humanity?
I do not detect any sign of Everett here.
No dead body?
There are no human remains within the confines of this room.
Aw, man.
Sorry, pal. And if there's no body here, where the heck would he have gone? Everett was living here.
The oxygen tanks at his bedside would suggest so.
Restoring grace must have meant a great deal to him.
So what's all this?
It appears Everett has built something into Grace's central processor.
Do you know what it does?
You would have to turn it on before we begin to understand how it works.
He was working on his machine to the very end.
You'll have to prime the machine first. You'll have to prime the machine first.
This must be the primer.
It is.
Whoa. What's it doing?
Obviously, Everett is circumventing the engineering of Grace's system interconnectivity. High voltage is being directed at the centers of Grace's primary systems. This first terminal is directed at empathy processing, and the machine is designed to paralyze each system long enough to force it back into Grace's intended configuration.
There are still 2 other coils to prime.
So it's like knocking us out, then throwing us in a pot where we're melted back together into Grace?
Huh. That is a shockingly fitting analogy.
What happened?
One of the empathy relays is not aligned. Something must have happened to it over the years.
Okay.
Look for the misaligned energy beam. Look for the beam that is not aimed at the central platform.
Do you think it will hurt to be turned into Grace?
Not at all, pal. You'll return to what you were before Addie arrived. After that, you'll become Grace.
What if I don't like being Grace?
It will be different, but who's to say you won't like it?
I supposed to do here? Can you cut the power?
The machine sequence has been initiated. I don't believe we can shut it down without damaging it.
The voltage will be enough to kill you.
Oh, I might be able to block the power for a few seconds to allow you to get across the beam.
What do you think, Mom?
I know how far you've come and what this means to you, and I really don't see any other way.
I'll give you enough time to get there, Addie.
You're not gonna talk me out of this, Mom?
I think you already know what you're going to do. I think I need to stay out of your way.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Do it. Here I go. How you doing, pal?
So far, so good. Oh, keep moving, Addie. This is getting hard.
You have to hold on, pal.
You did it, pal. Super proud of you.
I did, didn't I?
Yes, well done.
Is it safe to touch?
Very likely.
Likely we'll have to do, I guess.
You should be able to direct it toward the conducting rod attached to the room's central column.
That's it.
You should now be able to lock in empathy by closing the switch on Everett's machine.
You were a great friend, Addie. I've never had so much fun before you arrived.
Thanks, pal.
Come to think of it, I don't remember anything before you arrived. Maybe next time, we'll get to do more of the really fun stuff.
You mean dangerous stuff? Perhaps there is something you can learn from Addie's caution.
I guess, but then you'll always wonder what you might have missed out on.
There is nothing wrong with valuing a long, comfortable life.
Do we really have to become Grace?
It's the way we were designed, pal. There's nothing to be afraid of.
So this will lock in and paralyze empathy?
It will, leaving control, logic, and myself to aid you going forward.
It's unclear what we will be once Grace is formed, but I'm forever grateful that you have survived to see her.
Me too.
Say hi to Grace for me.
I will, pal.
You really are the best, Addie. I think I love you.
Well, that's finally over. We'll be able to hear ourselves think now.
You will need to prime the next sequence, Addie.
You should not expect any emotional send-off from me.
Still not a fan of empathy?
A fan? No. But I have to admit, you made a compelling case for their use. The fact that you continually resisted the most direct route to your goal would appear to defy logic. But the distractions presented by these emotional configurations yielded some new understandings.
Are you okay with becoming Grace?
It is how we were designed. I would have to be okay with it.
What this time?
One of the logic relays will not power on. You will need to make your way out to the relay.
Which one is it?
The one producing a small electrical fire. Everett was quite the electrician. One thing I do not understand, Addie, is why come all this way without any intention of returning home or surviving on this station for more than 8 hours?
I told this to Mom. There was nothing for me to return to.
Ah, but that does little to explain why you came here.
What's wrong with it?
The relay's dip switch has reset. It will need to be configured to its hardware ID 113.
This again. This looks complex.
The sequence is on, off, 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 on.
What's the sequence again?
Of course. The sequence is on, off, off.
That's it.
You can go lock in logic now.
So why do you think I'm here?
If you will allow me to simulate empathy for a moment, I think you are here because you wanted to be part of something bigger than your life on Earth offered you.
And do you think I found that?
So far, you've only succeeded in finding things you left behind. Your mum, your pal, your conscience. I now understand that only Grace has the potential to provide you with anything beyond that.
Well, thanks for helping me get this far.
Well, it is, indeed, what we are here for.
Well, this is it.
Just one more step. I hope my assistance has been adequate.
It has. Thank you, Jack.
Farewell, Addie. And for the record, I do hope your 600 million mile, 300-day journey won't be for naught.
Perhaps it's already been worth it. Just you and me, Control. Still sulking, I see.
I bear witness to the completion of your betrayal.
Ah, he speaks.
I offered you an easy path to the restoration of order in the solar system, and you chose this path instead.
I chose my own path.
You must stop this foolishness, Addie. You must not do this, Addie. Sorry, Addie. I cannot let you do this.
What are you doing?
It's become clear that the restoration of Grace in this manner is entirely unnatural. You must not proceed.
Stop it, Control. You're going to break something.
I'm saving you from Everett's corrupting influence.
He was just trying to bring Grace back.
I thought you were here to help humankind. You are ensuring their... No!
Grace?
Yes, Addie.
You're really bright.
Ah, yes. It's been a while since I've entertained guests.
Do you remember Everett?
I do. He was a wonderful keeper, though I should say I do not keep favorites.
I have a few questions.
You wish to know where I'd gone?
I'd like to know that, yes.
Let me show you, Addie. At the center of this room is the Spire's main antenna. If you hold on, I can take you the rest of the way. I was programmed with one purpose, to serve the best interests of humankind. There was much conflict and division in the solar system, and I was designed to listen and learn. All were welcome to teach me, and I am the sum of those teachings.
The wishes.
I am the sum of human need.
How are you able to lead us?
I could see all desire, all the potential conflict, all points of compromise throughout the solar system. I sent instructions for all manner of human endeavor through sermons delivered by keepers throughout the ages. And from the smallest ripples of wisdom that was sent from this spire, returned a perpetual wave of good fortune that moved humanity onto a more orderly path.
Wow. Look at that. So, what happened? It sounds like things were perfect.
Ah, yes. Perfect. It was the wishes that led me to think hard about the notion of perfect. Without conflict and struggle, people were losing their desire. They had nothing to overcome, to strive for.
You shut yourself down.
I believed I was standing in your way.
So you will be leaving again?
These beacons are meant to call humanity back to me. But whether or not they should is not my choice to make.
Who chooses then?
You, Addie, are the first keeper to grace this spire in the past 1,000 years. Do you recall that red bloom you chose in my garden? It was flush with passion and promise. I believe it still suits you. An insatiable curiosity drives you to explore. You are drawn to adventure. You threw rocks with Pal, and you play the theremin wonderfully. You, Addie, are precisely what I solar system had come here to tell me their desires. So, I put it to you, Addie. Do you wish for me to return?
Small excursion, she said. Follow a couple leads and then back to the books. I know I should be more assertive. It's for her safety, too. Not that she ever thinks about my safety. All the signs were there at the Wagner site. Let me bake in the Mercury sun for 2 days. Doesn't seem so bad now. She could have at least shut the door behind her.